Hey everyone, GameHounds podcast. We are here. We are back. Don't worry, we haven't lost our jobs.
Yet.
Oh, oh. This week, I don't know if it's that the news was all so bad or just it hit me wrong, but I have such a feeling of existential dread over
Oh,
everything that happened this week in gaming.
really? I feel like this week was better than last week.
No, no, it's not. This is a bad week. And we'll talk about why you might think there's upsides to this week, but I will explain why they're not upsides, why they are actually downsides.
Okay.
Because it is going to get a lot darker before it's over, but I think that we are beginning to see the beginning of the end.
Of
And
everything.
kind of. So we'll talk. I mean, like I said, I'm having keep in mind I'm experiencing feelings of existential dread. So I'm coming from that place. So consider the source, but I am terrified about everything that happened this week. We will talk about it. This, if you're looking for the podcast that makes you feel better about life, this might not be the episode. You might want to go back like 2 episodes, maybe go back a year ago. Go back a year ago.
No,
It'll be much better.
go back a decade.
Oh, a decade? Yeah, go back a decade. That's it's great when you listen to one of our old shows because not only is everybody younger and better looking, but you know how the story is going to end. And you can hear us opining about how the story is going to end and know that we are absolutely wrong. So it gives you this feeling of like, I'm so much smarter than them because I know exactly how. They were so stupid back then, thinking that that was going to happen when it absolutely didn't. So go back to a decade. It'll make you feel better. But I will drag you, hopefully drag you down. Either one of two things is going to happen. I'm going to drag you down into my dark place, or you're going to lift me up into your
Okay.
place of light. And I'm
Mis-
good with either. Because, misery does love company.
I just want to say, at the risk of be demonetizing this episode,
We don't get
this
any money anyway, so
this
go for
song,
it.
I think of this song at least like once a day.
Oh, no, 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 not demonetizing. They will shut down this. They will cancel this episode. Do not
Oh.
play licensed music. They will actually
Ah.
remove the episode.
Okay.
No license.
There's a song by Nothing More called Existential Dread.
Mhm.
That's it.
Okay.
And
I will look it up. I will absolutely look it up. But don't put licensed music on here because it's not just a case of demonetizing. Demonetizing would be talking
yeah,
about
that'd be easy.
unaliving yourself if we were getting any money or forcibly, having your yayas out on somebody else or a child. That
Having you
is
what?
having your yayas out.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
All of that can demonetize you, meaning that if you are earning cash, they don't give you money for it. If you put in licensed music, just showing you the importance of these things to the corporate overlords. You mention something like that, it's fine. We'll just won't give you any money. You put in licensed music that you didn't have a license for, we will take your episode off the air, never to be seen again. And you get a strike. And you do that 3 times and they shut down your podcast.
Yeah, yeah, I know about the strikes.
Yeah. So that's not demonetization. That's something way uglier.
Fine.
Yeah. I'm glad I caught you before you did that.
Licenses ruin everything.
They really do. But it also, honestly,
Capitalism ruins
that's
everything.
how we pay artists is licensing. Unfortunately, the
No,
artists
we
rarely see the
don't.
music.
let's be honest, those artists aren't getting a cut of that licensing deal.
That's because they make bad contract decisions, and sometimes they're sort of forced into it, but ultimately, that's the point of licensing, is that
They're
the
not
artist is supposed
the
to be
artists
paid.
aren't making the only way artists make money is from like touring, pretty much. Everything else is like, I don't know, maybe I get like
It depends.
$1 from Spotify every now and then.
It depends. It depends on how you made the money. It depends on how this contract you signed. Absolutely.
Generally, it's only tours. Or
And they keep more percentage of the money from
or
tours.
Bandcamp. Every now and then, Bandcamp has their like special once a month on Fridays. They do the special. Hey, every album you buy, 100% of the money goes toward the artist.
See, that's why you want to use ethical systems and
Yeah,
ethical sources for
that's
your
nice.
music.
I have literally $200 worth of albums in my cart, and I'm
Waiting for that day. Oh,
Mhm.
good for you. Good for you, because you're not paying any less for it. It's just more of the money's going to the
Yeah,
artists.
I mean it's also Bandcamp, so you can like choose how much you pay.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So can we start the show?
Oh, sure,
All right. Let's start the show.
if you
Wait.
insist.
I do insist. Thank you very much.
This podcast discusses video games, pop culture, and technology, and these podcasters have big, fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom said to take out the trash and do your homework.
Hello and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 814. We are recording this on Sunday, March 29th, 2026. I'm Edie Sellers. With me is Nick DiNicola. And we have lots of news to talk about. But before we do that, if any of you are listening, there are a few of you in the various chat rooms on the various sources that we are live streaming right now. Do us a favor, hit the like and subscribe button. And if you feel like it, we are 100% Patreon funded. So if you want to support us on Patreon, patreon.com/gamehounds. That is our Patreon. And we don't ask for a lot. We don't put anything behind paywalls. $1 a month is all we ask, just to help offset the cost of this show. But there, like and subscribe, hit the notification bell if you're watching on YouTube, whatever. And we would love to have you. And thank you to all of our subscribers. So let's talk about what we've been playing this week. I've still been playing pretty much just Slay the Spire. Wait, Nick, we played a game this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot
Oh, we
about
did.
that. Yeah, I forgot
Was
to put that in
this
there.
week? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the banner was
was.
in there, but then I deleted it because I was like, oh, we didn't play
Oh,
that this week.
You're an idiot. Let me see, John. We played John Carpenter's Toxic Commando. Toxic Commando. So yeah, we played John Carpenter's Toxic Commando together. I made a very bad decision, and you need to remind this to me when I ask you, because it is crossplay. I could have bought it on PC or on PlayStation. And I said, I don't really know which platform I want to do it. And you said, oh, I bought it on PlayStation. So I figured, yeah, I'll just buy it on PlayStation. If you're ever in a situation of PlayStation or PC, the answer is PC, because I forgot when I went to go play it that I had to buy my PlayStation subscription in order
No,
to
the
play it.
PSN subscription.
I forgot that you have to pay a subscription to play with your friends.
Do
And
you
this is
by any
becoming
chance still
an
have?
issue.
Do you still have? Do you still pay for Xbox?
No,
Okay.
I
Okay.
killed
Good.
Xbox and I killed PlayStation.
Okay.
Yeah. And when they raised the prices for both, and now I played it and then I turned it off. So
Okay, that's good. Just do it for a month.
I know, but I paid full price for the one on PlayStation, and I don't know that I'm going to be playing it anymore. So The answer is always on your PC. It is why I want a Steam machine, because I am not going to have to pay a monthly fee or an annual fee
Oh
in order to
God!
play
Now
with
all
my
the people in
friends.
the chat are just gonna be, oh PC, PC. Yeah, see, it's already begun. Jesus Christ! The console wars may be over, but the PC console wars are eternal.
Oh, yes. And honestly, the PC console wars right now, PC is winning. And it's winning for a lot of reasons that well, it's why I'm looking forward so much to the Steam Machine.
That
Because the
that may
one
never come out.
thing, my argument, that's true, but my argument was always the console is
I play on
convenient.
PC. PC is the
Mhm.
best console.
Yep, yep.
Thank you.
It's not the best console. It's the worst console, but it is the best platform. That's where the Steam Machine
Okay,
was going to
I could
fit
see that
in. It's
argument.
a
Yeah.
terrible console. It is inconvenient. It is kludgy. You have to futz with it to make it work on your television.
He
You
said,
gotta do a bunch of stuff. That's what the Steam Machine did, is they made it plug and play. It was all the convenience of a console, which is what I was paying my monthly fee for, without all of the downsides of the console, meaning I have to pay an annual fee for it.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, AC Ray said it's not like either group can afford memory.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll talk about that. But let's talk about Toxic Commando. I did play it on the PC or on the PlayStation 5. It took me 5 tries to get through the tutorial. Not because the tutorial was difficult, but because inevitably, the minute I started playing that tutorial, something would happen. Someone would need something. I would have to go somewhere. Oh my God, this crisis happened. And I would have to get pulled away from it, which was frustrating as fuck. Or in some cases, it needed to be updated, which was just enough time that I didn't have enough time to actually finish the tutorial. So I did finally finished the tutorial on, I want to say it was Monday night or Tuesday night, Monday night, Tuesday, one of those 2 nights. And Pilot Chris was on and bought it, and Nick was on, and the 3 of us played, and we
Yeah.
had a great time. It is in the genre of Left 4 Dead, and what was the Left 4 Dead ripoff?
Back for Blood.
Back 4 Blood. It actually reminds me more of Back 4 Blood. But it is way more intense, like more of massive hordes of zombies, like Left 4 Dead 2 was. Not Left 4 Dead 1, but Left 4 Dead 2. It is it's good, but it is intense. And I like, well, we ended up playing 2 different maps. The second map was a lot more fun than the first map, which was the tutorial map.
Mhm.
The second map that we played, and man, the
That second one is
ambulance,
more indicative of like what the full game is.
right. The ambulance is so OP. Oh my God, the ambulance is
Yeah.
fantastic.
What I like about this one, as opposed to Left 4 Dead or Back for Blood, is that the levels are pretty big and spacious, and so you're getting in a lot of vehicles. There's a lot of vehicles that you need to get from point A to point B, and each of those vehicles has a different gimmick to it. The ambulance has an ability that heals everyone in a circle around you, and it just constantly respawns med packs. So you can run into a horde of zombies, fight, get yourself real fucked up. But then you just go to the ambulance, you use the special ability, you heal, you pick a constantly regenerating med pack so that everyone is back to full health and ready to go.
Yeah, it is so, so good. It is a lot of fun to play. It is uh let's see if I can get in there. Okay, there we go. The cutscenes are fine. They're not, anything to write home about. The story is not anything to write home about.
No.
The gameplay, I would say I have never had to futz with sensitivities on the PlayStation or at all. I had to futz with the stock sensitivities on that.
Interesting.
I
I
don't
didn't
know
have that
what it
discussion.
is, but it just it didn't seem right. It was
Huh.
it
Yeah,
was too
I found it.
sensitive. Actually,
Hmm.
I think it was set to very, very low sensitivity, which made me overshoot everything because I was holding everything much longer just because and then I'd overshoot. Um, I was having where I don't have like I play Battlefield and it's like I could go away from Battlefield for years, come back, it instantly feels like home. It's just got that comfy feeling of an old friend.
Hmm.
This doesn't have that comfy feeling. It almost feels angular in the way that the gameplay, the firing happens. It takes a little while to get
Okay.
used to, and it is very easy as opposed to many games where they bury the sensitivities in advanced settings. This thing is super easy, and it's got a lot of ways that adjust the sensitivities even on a console. Adjusting sensitivities is a PC thing. It's not really so much a console thing. So
I
when I
mean,
had to do it for the
it kind of
console, it
is.
was
Every
a
shooter,
unique.
like since Halo, has had sensitivity options.
Yeah, but like I said, I've never ever had to play with sensitivities on a console, and I did on this one. That
Weird.
being said, it's a fun ass game, and uh, I know that I am going to suck at it, which makes me a little like reticent about getting a
I don't
pickup
know.
group.
I thought you did fine.
That wasn't that great. Like I said,
Yeah, you and Anchor. You weighed us all down. We should have just
well,
shot you in the leg and left you.
you should have gotten an AI to do
No,
me
no,
instead.
it was fun.
It's a fun ass game. It's definitely intense though. When you're done with one of these maps or when you're finish a big firefight, you have that feeling of like, like you would need to take a breath because you forgot to breathe while you're trying to get this down. Um, it's a good game.
Yeah, yeah. There's not a
AC
whole
Ray
lot to say
says
about it
console games should at least have
technically.
a dead zone setting for analog sticks. Agreed.
I think they all do, at least nowadays.
Well, I don't know about this one, but I just did notice that the aiming was janky for me when I
Hmm.
first started, and I had to kind of mess with it, and I'm still messing with it
And
to
part
find
of
the
that may
perfect
be like every game has its own
feel.
like slightly different feel.
Mhm.
Even if it uses all of the same button controls, you know, sometimes the turning radius is a little bit faster. And so, I don't know, I've always just thought this is the way the game is. I just have to get used to it. And yeah, I thought this one was easy to get used to.
Burning Fire says, "Hey, did you know Edie looks exactly like my mom, but Edie is just a little bit more old?" Yeah, that's you nailed it.
Then AC did
Perfect
say there's
description.
only one D in Edie,
Yep.
but she's the founder of the show, which is like a mom.
I am. I am the den mother of this crazy ass
Yes.
fraternity of weird ass gamers that have
You
been
are the
around
mom of
with
the
us for
show.
what 13, 14 years now.
You are
So
the only person that has to take care of a kid.
I am. I don't have to take care of a kid. I kind of sort of
I
like the
mean,
kid asks me, please care for me.
I feel like there's some level of obligation.
Yes, but it's more like the kid, the dad is like, we're having this for dinner. And she looks at me like, I'm like, what? How about this for dinner?
Do we have to eat In and Out again?
Right. He's pretty we went and bought her mints. She decided that she wanted icebreaker mints. So we
Okay.
were in 7-Eleven, we got found some icebreaker mints and it was between spearmint and peppermint. I'm like, "Well, which one do we want?" And he's like, "Get spearmint, spearmint." I'm like, "Are you sure she likes spearmint?" And he goes, "No, spearmint's the best." And we bring it back into the car and she goes, I don't like spearmint."
You know I don't like
He likes spearmint, so that's what he picks. That's
these
very good
cats.
of him. He does not his daughter says, "I don't like
Oh,
this,"
oh,
or, "I
okay.
don't like
Shepard,
this,"
are you trying to?
don't get it. So, this is very typical of him. So, she's
Cats.
usually now turning to me like, "Help." I'm like, "Okay, I'll help." But Toxic Commando, Can't recommend it enough. I think it's a fun game. Is it a game I'm going to play a lot of? Probably if Nick is on and one other person is on. Yeah, we might pick it up and do it. But I see this being very much like Chivalry. The game that's kind of stays on.
God, I should go back to Chivalry. Chivalry's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
It stays on your hard drive because every
Mhm.
once in a while it's like, hey, what do you want to do tonight? Let's play some Chivalry. And you come back to it and it's just baha fun. But you don't come home at night and going, you know what I want to play? Toxic Commando. It's not that game. Because there's really, I mean, there's a story, but it's not
it's just a good
really
thing to
what
do
it's
with
about.
friends. It's like a hangout game.
It's a hangout game. It's a great hangout game. So I do recommend it. If you have not bought it yet, something to keep in mind, and I don't know if this is still the case. On Valve, I would recommend you buy it on PC. On Valve, if you buy the game, it is one price. But there is a package deal that is on sale that if you buy the game, Toxic Commando, and it's not DayZ, it's
World War Z.
World War Z, which is the other game by the developer. If you buy the package deal, it's actually $5 cheaper than buying the game alone.
And that's not if you have the other game. You're talking about buying both games new.
I bought both games new, and it was $5 cheaper than if I bought one game new.
That is crazy, but that's an
because
awesome
it's on
deal.
sale. Yeah. I don't know if that's the case, but that's what it was last week.
Hang on, I'm
Because
checking.
the game itself is not on sale, but there is a bundle deal sale that's 20% off.
Oh, yeah, it looks like you got a good sale because right now the Toxic Commando World War Z bundle is $52.
Oh no, it was $41 when I bought
Yeah,
it.
so you'll save 25% on both games, but you're still paying full price for both games.
Maybe somebody mispriced it and I just hit it at the right time.
Was there probably a sale going on? Like it's
Well, it was a 20% off on right. It was a 20% off on the bundle. No, the game itself was not on sale. The bundle was on sale.
But I'm saying, I think because the game had just come out, there was like a, hey, buy it now, early adopter sale. Sometimes you see this with a lot of indie games where the first couple weeks that they're released, they're 10% off.
Right. So check the bundle.
Oh yeah, AC Wright did say the spring sale just ended.
Oh, that's why it was spring sale. And the bundle was in the spring sale, but the actual game wasn't because it had just come out.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the other game being on sale would have affected the bundle. So you got World War Z on sale. That was the game that was on sale, but it was so cheap. It brought down the price of the entire bundle to the point where you could get it lower than the other game. That's crazy.
That's crazy. I never occurred to me that was the case. But yeah, that would be the case, wouldn't it?
Huh.
So, another reason to watch spring sales.
Yeah.
If your game isn't on the spring sale, doesn't necessarily mean you can't get that game at a significant discount.
That's true.
Yeah. So, I would recommend getting on a PC just so you don't have to play the if you don't already or are, fine with paying the PlayStation Portal price. But yeah, it's a good hangout game. It's not a game that you're gonna rush home because you want to find out what happens. But that's fine. Those games have a place.
Yeah.
What did you play, Nick?
I played more Crimson Desert.
Mm-hmm.
I really love this game.
I heard the new patch really improves it.
Yes. So a couple things from the new patch. Improved cows not properly following during herding. Fixed an issue where attacking NPCs with trees was not considered a crime.
I love patch notes on a new game, especially if it's MMO-like. Oh.
Mm-hmm. Or my favorite one, changed the functionality of an item.
Did it say what the item was?
Nope.
Okay.
But yeah, a lot of these patch notes seems to be some of them are when you tap the button to run, you now get up to top speed faster than you did before. I think they changed the turning radius, just a little bit of quality of life things across the board, which will make it really good because this game, there were a lot of complaints about the story. Like, oh, the main story isn't that good. But what I'm finding is the draw of the game is not the story, it's the world. This game is less Witcher 3 and more Elden Ring, Breath of the Wild with Morrowind, where it's the side quests that are interesting. The first area, I've been spending a lot of time working with the governor of this like small farming kingdom, excuse me, to help kill a bunch of bandits that have taken over supply routes. So I'm going into a stone quarry, killing a bunch of bandits and fighting a big boss so that quarry, then starts producing stone again. I'm going to a military fort that the bandits have taken over. And I'm just like doing these little quests to just like help this farming community deal with bandits. And that's an interesting story. I like that. It's more about the world and the characters within the world than it is you. Although what I have found too is that, I mean, the main story, at least as far as what I've seen so far, is not bad. It's just a general, kind of a generic, hey, we were a mercenary group that got really fucked up and kind of splintered, and now we're trying to bring everyone back together again. So the missions have been very, there are rumors of a gray mane, which is what our mercenary group is called. The rumors of a gray mane in this area. So I'm going to go to that area and investigate it, recruit another gray mane, bring them back to our camp. And just last night, I unlocked the ability to send them on missions. So that in a very Assassin's Creed 4 way, you know how in Assassin's Black Flag, you could send some assassins on missions, and after 30 minutes, they would come back and give you resources, and you could send more
I remember
assassins
that.
on resources.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, this is that same deal, where you can do that with the mercenaries you recruit. So, and through that, you can kind of build up your camp. So, and that's kind of what the main story is it's not a, deeply character-driven, thematically driven,
Grand epic story.
yeah, it's just like, hey, we're going to get the band back together, and that kind of mechanical building is the story. And so that means that really the story is just your adventures in this world. For example, I kept running across this one house. So there's like this house on a bog, and the bog is poisoned. So when you step in it, you start to lose health pretty quickly. But I wanted to get up there because the house was filled with bandits. It was on stilts. So it's like this big house, 2 stories tall on stilts in the middle of this poison swamp. And I'm like, God damn, how do I get up there? Because I keep running past this area and they keep like throwing arrows at me. And it's really annoying. I want to kill these guys. And I kept looking up around, like, because you have a glide ability. And I'm like, okay, I can climb up to that mountain, but I don't think I could reach the glide if I come over here. What can I do? And eventually I realized, there's a thing called nature's grasp, which is your ability to basically lift big objects. So it's in a forest. I found a tree that had fallen on the ground. I lifted up the tree.
And you did not attack a villager with it.
I did not attack a villager with it. But I placed the tree to form a ramp from the shore to the building, ran up the tree, and then proceeded to slaughter everyone in the house. But the fact that kind of emergent gameplay was allowed, that there's a house on stilts, I don't know how I can get there, but you can use the mechanics of the game to just craft a ramp. And it's like, oh, this is really cool. And that was really satisfying. And it's for moments like that I really keep playing the game, is just finding, I think the world is really interesting. I actually got into the habit, every time you unlock a knowledge entry, basically an encyclopedia entry, I read it because I think it's pretty interesting, the flavor text they provide to the world. And even though I'm still I've just been exploring this one kingdom, the kingdom of Hernand. And the map is excessively bigger. It's so much bigger than Hernand. But that's kind of the starting area. And so it's just fun to learn about, the different houses of Hernand, the different kind of politics. Like I said, the situation with the bandits. But yeah, I'm enjoying just the moment-to-moment gameplay. It feels like Morrowind, which is not something that a lot of modern games do, because Morrowind was a little bit janky and not streamlined. But what that meant was when someone gave you a piece of paper and it said, "Oh, meet me Friday at 10 o'clock," you didn't get a quest marker that said Friday at 10 o'clock. But if you were at that location Friday at 10 o'clock, the NPC would be there. And there's like kind of a satisfaction in like the physicality of, I'm going to look at this paper, take note of the time and day, go there, and to do all that without the game explicitly prompting you to, and to have yourself be rewarded for that. Like that feels good. But a lot of games just streamline themselves to not do that. And this one, and I think that's one of the reasons like a lot of people have issues with this, is because it doesn't really do that.
Well,
There is a
it
little bit
doesn't.
of jank.
It doesn't. It's not so much jank in that
Oh,
it's
streamlining.
structured.
Yeah.
Whereas, other games like this tend to have had an epic storyline, which gives it structure. Go here, do this quest, find some information. Go here, get through this quest, find some more information. This isn't that kind of game. There's a story in there that's really good, but it's not structured to force you into finding that story. It's structured to let you just be in this world. And if you want to follow that story straight through, great. If you don't, there's lots of little interesting world stories that are smaller stories that are encounters just as good. And
Yeah.
yeah, I loved Morrowind for that. That's why those are the kind of games that you end up spending 300, 400 hours. Skyrim was very much like that too.
See,
And
I
that
feel
there
like
was lots
Skyrim.
of little like, interesting things that you could just go somewhere and do something and there, but it did have also many different structured storylines like
Yeah,
the
Skyrim, like
Brotherhood and
Skyrim is way more structured than Morrowind was. I feel
yes.
like there's a type of what's the name of the franchise? Elder Scrolls. There are
Mhm.
two camps of Elder Scrolls players. There's the Morrowind players and there's the Skyrim players. And like they like each other. There's not like animosity, but there's like, I prefer this game, I prefer this game.
Mhm. Yeah.
But yeah, I it's a sandbox open world game, and I'm really enjoying running around the world. The demo that we
It's
played
the
at PAX a year
yeah.
ago
Yeah.
put you in the middle of like a giant war. Like you remember that, right? You're running
Mhm.
through factions fighting. You spent 5 minutes running through a battlefield and it's just fire blowing up like catapults landing around you. I'm kind of really curious like what creates that? And that's
Mhm.
part of the world and the story is I want to see how the world evolves. I want to, is it Hernand that's going to war with someone? If so, that's like a big radical departure from how the game is right now.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm really curious to see what's going, and I'm enjoying playing around with it. I'm enjoying all the crazy levels of mechanics. There's a boss fight last night that I was fighting at like 2 a.m. It's this like weird little floating cube surrounded by a poison red mist. And it took the form of like a giant so that the poison mist is smashing with hands. And every now and then it would jump and the mist would dissipate. And I'd go over and I start whacking the cube, but I wouldn't do any real damage. And I kept thinking like, okay, there's some gimmick to this fight. There's something that I'm missing. What am I doing? What am I doing wrong? After like 30 minutes and dying a bunch of times, I was like, okay, I got to look this up. There was a move where you kind of throw out a whip that you have, and you can use that to manipulate different floating objects in the environment. I
Mhm.
completely forgot about that move because it's mostly used for solving puzzles. In this case, You use it to whip the orb, pull it out of the mist, and then when it lands, you can go and hit it and do actual damage. And I was like, oh, fuck. There was a gimmick. I forgot all my moveset. And I like that because it tells me, okay, I need to remember my moveset. I have a bunch of stuff at my disposal, a whole bunch of tools. I need to remember those tools and use them because the game will use each tool in very different ways. A tool for puzzle solving will be used in combat, and a tool for combat will be used for puzzle solving. There was another puzzle where there's like these three levers, things that you stand and you push and you rotate it. And two of them had handles. So I just walked up, grabbed the handle and pushed it. The other one didn't have a handle. I'm like, what the fuck? There's a handle on the ground, but I can't pick up the handle. What do I do? And again, I played around with it for like 30 minutes. It's like, oh, fine, I'm going to look up. What do I do? You have a stab move where you have your sword and you run it forward to stab a guy. You stab the thing and you use your sword has a handle to turn it. And I was like, fuck, that is really clever.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like it is a fun game for you. And you reminding us that we played that demo at PAX reminded me about especially your description of it last week about how that the controls are very janky. The controls are very different. So you have to kind of learn the controls all over. It's a lot of button combinations. I remembered how much I hated the demo for that reason. So I kind of want to try it again in the privacy of my own home where I'm not feeling like I have to,
like putting on a show,
or that I've got a time behind me, like a time sensitive stuff behind me that I know I'm running out of time. I'm running out of time, but I can't get this move. I can't get this move. And I'll buy it on Steam because that way I will know within a half hour if I'm not going to do this.
True. I learned a move last night, clothesline, so that now if there's a group of enemies, I book it towards them because if you run and hit two buttons, you basically clothesline them and slam them into the ground where you can then stab them on the ground. So it's just like a bunch of enemies minding their own business when suddenly I come in, slam a guy to the ground, stab him in the back. And
you're
then
a bully. You're an awful
cause
person
havoc
in this game.
Oh, it's awesome.
Okay, so moving on. Any other games that you played this week?
Yes, because I did play Crimson Desert last week. So that does not count for my talk about a new game every week. So I've been saving this game to talk about for when I didn't have something else to talk about. Love Eternal describes itself as a horror platformer. So I was really intrigued by that. And I bought it because it sounded really cool. And it was like $5, I think, or like $7 or something. I don't know if it really satisfies that horror platformer, though. This is a brutally difficult platformer, kind of in the vein of Celeste or Super Meat Boy. Those are good references for it. It plays like VVVVVV in that the main mechanic is this gravity shifting. So you're running around, you hit a button, and gravity shifts, you go to the top. You hit gravity shift again, you go to the bottom. You can't shift gravity mid-air. You can only shift it once you land on the ground, unless you grab like these little crystals that are hovering in the air. So if you're on the ground, you shift gravity, you start going up, and then you get a crystal, then you can shift gravity and start going down again. And so the way a lot of the difficult platforming works is you will be faced with a challenge, and you'll see it all on one screen, but it's a series of falls and turns filled with spikes on the ground, spikes on the wall, spikes everywhere. And you'll have to, fall, shift, get a crimson, get a ruby, get a gem, then shift gravity so that you start to go around one spike, fall up, get a gem, shift again, fall down. So you're kind of falling through the level, up and down, up and down. And like the gems are well placed so that if you do it all right, you can always get those gems. It's just a matter of timing. And if you could skip ahead to like one of the platforming levels, because what I found that I didn't particularly like is that now skip way earlier. It's not a long game. There we go. This is the hell. This is actually one of the easier parts, but you can see that okay, you're shifting gravity up and down. You have to shift gravity to go over a spike and land. But the way the game, this level, this is the one that kind of made me go, I don't know if I want to keep playing this game. And of course, this fucker on YouTube makes it look easy. This level took me like 40 minutes. Because the timing required is really, really specific. As you can see, when you fall, these cats, there's momentum. And that momentum kind of changes how far you can keep going when you shift gravity. So if you're falling down and you shift gravity, you're going to keep falling down a little bit before you then start to fall up again. But I feel like that momentum means you never quite have the precision of control that the game seems to ask of you. Because that momentum feels like it's always not wonky. It feels accurate, but if you're falling and you change your angle slightly, then that feels like it changes your momentum because instead of just falling straight down, you're falling an angle, and that changes your distance. That changes, that just changes momentum. That changes velocity, all the scientific stuff. And so, like I said, that just means that the controls don't quite feel like they have the ultra precision that a lot of the game is asking you to have. And so that's why once I did beat that one level, but after that I was like, okay, I can't keep doing this. I've hit my limit. And I think that VVV, Super Meat Boy, Celeste, I just think that they're kind of more interesting platformer games. I think the stories are more interesting. So this advertises itself as not a survival horror, just a horror platformer, which is a really interesting genre. You don't hear that often, but I don't think that it quite works. The mechanics, the fact that you're going through these levels and dying hundreds of times per level feels like it should lend itself to a horror story, right? Like you're dying and you're stuck in this kind of weird world filled with spikes and traps and death. It does feel like if the characters acknowledged what they were actually doing mechanically, yes, that would be really terrifying. But it doesn't. It doesn't acknowledge the kind of inherent horror in the mechanics. As far as I got, there wasn't a whole lot of narrative yet. I think that you go down to see your family during dinner. Someone knocks on the door. You go and investigate. No one's there. And when you come back, your family's gone. And you then go out the back door to try to find them. But that's kind of it. And then along the way, you encounter some weird stuff. But like that premise alone is not really enough to like drive the gameplay. I think of Returnal, which is a game that was similarly kind of a roguelike shooter, but it had a very horror themed, horror adjacent style to it. And that game was excellent. That game constantly the narrative acknowledged the repetition. It acknowledged the fact that every time you died, you went back to the beginning, that this character was stuck in this loop. You would find audio logs from like you 50 loops in the future losing your mind. And so you could hear yourself going crazy from the loops. And that created it. It was a game that acknowledged if you were actually in the mechanics of the game. Like, there's an existential horror to that, being stuck in the same loop over and over again. And that game was awesome for that. This game doesn't really do that. It doesn't, the narrative doesn't incorporate the mechanics. And so I feel like it kind of, there's like the T ball is set up there. It's a perfect swing of, horror and platformer. You could do that. And it just kind of misses. It doesn't really take advantage of that.
Yeah.
So that was a little annoying, but it's a well-made game. And
it's an interesting game to watch. I really enjoy
it for me.
Yeah, I really enjoy watching that game because it's a mind fuck to watch. But yeah, I mean, I could see that that's
and
not
watching that guy do that level just without hesitation, the one that gave me like 40 minutes of trouble. That is how you watch this game. Watch someone else play it because they will make all of the hard parts look easy.
Right. So, shall we do news?
Yeah.
All right. Then let's wait for it. I have to get to my assets. Okay, let's hit the news.
I like AC Race. I hate platforming.
Yeah. This is GameHounds News, the news, news, and commentary of the week in gaming with Gamer80 and Nick DeNicola. And our first item is, God, how many? Okay. Now we're getting to the existential dread part of the show. Gird your loins. This is not going to be fun. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be very bumpy.
Okay. I feel like there are two main stories.
Yeah. Which one you want to talk about?
Epic or Sony?
Let's talk about Sony, because that's kind of I think is the headline story of the week.
Okay.
Yeah. Sony has jacked up the price of the PS5.
They followed Nintendo, they followed Xbox, and they hiked everything by different amounts depending on the console. So the Portal, their like handheld streaming thing, went up $50. Okay, that sucks. Not too bad. The base PS5 went up $100. Boy, that just sucks. That sucks. The Pro went up $150.
And
it's now $900.
And that is going up from the previous price hike that happened at the end of last year. So if you look back,
it wasn't the end of last year. It wasn't.
It was in November, wasn't it?
No, that's way
November?
too soon.
I thought it was November that they
not 25.
So, right, the PS5 with a disc is now $649. It went up from $549, which is a $100 increase. But remember that it launched at $499. So it is a $150 difference now. But here's the hidden, like you're complaining about the $150 price hike to $800 to $900 for the PS Pro. The PS Pro started at $700. So this is a $200 increase overall, right? $150 increase overall for the PS5 with the disc. $200 increase for the PS Pro, which is their high-end model. Their lowest end model, the one that was supposed to be their budget model, was $399. It is now $599, $600. So it went from $400 to $600. So it went up $200. It went up more overall in the last, since they started raising prices. It's the cheapest version has gone up more than the middle version. It's gone up by the same amount as the Deluxe Elite Edition.
Interesting. So it is. I wonder if like originally that was probably priced really aggressively, so they probably lost more money on that than the other ones, and over time
more highly subsidized.
Yeah, they're like, let's not do that.
Yeah. So overall, now everything has gotten more expensive, as we know that Xbox did raise its prices already. Similarly,
to practically the same. Like at
Right.
this point, you know, a week ago, you were like, oh yeah, absolutely, buy a PlayStation over an Xbox because the Xbox is overpriced. It's like $1,000.
hmm
It's like 700 at most. It's you know, good. Now they're both $1,000
Right. And
because
so,
let's be honest, if you buy a $900 PS Pro with tax, you're going to pay 4 figures.
right,
It's going to be closer to 4 figures than it is 3.
right.
Always got to factor in tax.
And there's an argument of why this is happening. Now, Sony held off from doing price increases when Xbox did price increases. And they said that it was because they had this war chest of chips that they already had a stock of that could get them through. And Xbox didn't have that stock on hand. So that they had to raise their prices because they needed more money to buy more chips because, as we all know, the price of DRAM has gone up. Sony said they had enough to weather through. So one of two things has happened. Either Sony has run out of its war chest, which, you know, when Sony pretty much has been having to run off of its in-house stuff since November. So they've either exhausted those or they finally did what capitalism does. If your competition has to raise their price, you raise your price too, even if you're making it cheaper because now you have a bigger profit margin so that you can create more of a war chest. You have more assets in cash to be able to go into the future when you know it's going to get expensive.
I think
Those
that's
two
more
things happen.
likely.
No, I think
because
they ran out of stock.
see, I
think
don't
they
think
ran out
so
of stock.
because when Xbox raised their prices, that happened way earlier than Sony talking about their war chest of RAM. Microsoft raised their prices, I think, relatively early last year in 25, but it was the end of year financials, like the third quarter financials, where Sony said, we have enough chips to like sustain PlayStation production through 2026. So I don't think those two things are related. So I think they still have production of a war chest of chips to get them through production of 2026. I think part of this is let's do what we can to stretch that war chest out as long as we can. We'll raise prices, like you said, we're going to match the competition. So, you know, who can blame us? But also that will result in less sales and that will stretch out our supply for a little bit longer. And if we can stretch that out for a little bit longer, maybe the bubble will pop and maybe things will get better. But I think this is them trying to stretch, like purposely lower demand so that their production lasts longer. And hey, while you're lowering demand, increase prices because then you can get more money from those fewer sales, which is kind of what gaming has been going towards, what a lot of different entertainment industries have been going towards. They've all been raising the prices because only the upper class have the disposable income for entertainment. So why not reorient all of these industries around the upper class only? And the problem with that is it creates a downward spiral where, oh, people aren't buying our stuff because it's too expensive. Okay, we're going to raise our prices because the people that do buy it are willing to pay higher prices. Okay, but then that just means fewer people are going to buy it, which means we're going to raise the price again because the people that are have the money, but then few people don't. And that just drives more people towards Roblox and Fortnite and free-to-play games.
I don't say, I mean, I don't know what is the reasoning, if it is an actual run out, you know, the end of the war chest, or if it is trying to stave off the demise of their war chest. But if it is the latter, like you said, you are eliminating a possibility that you're right, that they have now like essentially blocked out. By the way, these prices don't go up until April 2nd. So if you're considering buying a PlayStation 5, buy it now because it's going to cost you a lot more on April 2nd.
So remember when I said that I was going to tell you something at the start of the podcast?
Yeah.
I have adopted a brand new PlayStation.
What?
I
How?
bought a PS Pro.
Well, see, it got you. That's the other thing that this does, is it gets those people that are like, should I, shouldn't I, should I, shouldn't I? Well, now they're all buying this week.
Yep.
Everybody's buying this week.
But you
So
know,
they're
my
getting a big
plan,
cash infusion.
my plan is I'm going to hold on to the base PS5 for like a month after these price increases kind of become the new normal. And then I'm going to see if I can sell it on eBay for $500.
Which is what you paid for it.
Exactly what I paid for it.
Right. The thing
yeah,
that you have suggested about it being the latter, that they're trying to get a bunch of money and that even though they are removing a significant part of the market who will no longer be able to afford that gaming platform,
Mhm.
it does leave the possibility that you could have a sale. Because right
Yes.
now is not the big sales time for PlayStation. The big sales time for PlayStations is Christmas. They can actually have PlayStations very, more expensive during this summer months when people that can afford it will pay for extra to get it. And then come November, you drop the prices for a Christmas sale.
I did
And that
see
brings in all of those people who couldn't afford it before.
I did see an analyst, and I forget what the website was, but they were saying just that because look, this is a big price increase. Like there's a sticker shock to it. And the analyst was saying it looks like Sony, instead of raising the prices by a little bit multiple times, they were just like, fuck it, we'll raise it by a lot because, exactly as you say, that gives us wiggle room to do sale prices throughout the year depending on how demand is. So increase it a lot because then we can always bring it down. And when we bring it down, that looks really good.
Right, you
So yeah,
seasonalize, you end up seasonalizing your sales even more. So we all know that consoles sell a lot more over Christmas time. Well, now they may not be selling consistently through the year, but if you have a once a year Christmas sale, people are saving up. They can put it in their heads that they're going to buy the new console over Christmas instead of whenever they have the money because they know it's going to get cheap. And you get this big rush to purchase at the end of the year when they need it the most.
yeah. When GTA 6 comes out, you put the PS Pro on sale, it's $100 off, only $799.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like a good deal at that point.
And, you want to play the new PlayStation or new GTA, and Microsoft doesn't have that. If this is, like I said, this is all assuming the scenario of they haven't run through their chip war chest
I don't think
to
that.
outlast this shortage. That they can um that they can drop their price of their console cheaper than Xbox can because they have more of a cushion. They have
Yeah.
that a larger profit margin to cut into.
But you know what? You know what's funny? There is one PlayStation accessory that did not increase in price.
The PSVR.
PSVR still on sale.
I can't believe. Well, I think that if Kevin were still alive, I would probably have a PSVR, but then again, Kevin was really, really stupid about stuff like that. He just, I hinted I really wanted a pair of Bose noise canceling headset, and I hinted at that every year. Every year I hinted at that and never got it. And finally, the last year, after 3 years of doing this, he got me an Apple TV, which is pointless because I have a PlayStation. I can have Apple TV on my PlayStation. I've got an Apple TV. And he got me an Amazon Dot.
What's a Dot?
You know, their little like Alexa Dot.
Oh, okay. I think we have one of those.
Yeah, he
No,
got me one of
we have a
those.
Google thing.
And I never, ever, ever, ever wanted one of those in my house. And I'm like, what are you thinking? And I was so angry about, not angry, but I was so disappointed at him that the day after Christmas, I told him, by the way, I am going to go buy myself a pair of Bose noise canceling headphones because I've hinted at this for 3 years. In 3 years, you have gotten me just absolute crap. So I'm going to go buy it now. Fuck you. And he's like, oh God, I'm an idiot. I should have thought of it. I'm like, yes, I did everything I could short of get me this for Christmas. Now, maybe I should have done that, but anyway, I'm surprised I don't have a PSVR at this point. I'm definitely not buying it for myself now because money's tight, but I'm really surprised I don't have a PSVR.
Yeah, it's a cool device. There are a couple of VR games that once they go on sale, I want to try them out again. Resident Evil in VR was cool, but I just think there is no bigger indication that Sony no longer gives a shit about VR than them not raising the prices on it. Because they look, no one's buying this anyways.
They raised the price on PS Portal, which nobody knows. Nope, not many people use.
I mean, I've actually heard that the Portal is like getting better and better with each update. Like, it's last update they had, you could actually play over Wi-Fi. So you could stream. Before, it was a device where you could only stream a game in your home, from your console to the handheld. Now you can actually do it over Wi-Fi. You can take the Portal outside and do it. So they've made it a lot better. But yeah, they clearly, the Portal is popular enough that it deserves a price hike.
I think they forgot that they made it. Like, so shh, don't say anything because they may have forgotten that they had that product.
Like, okay, increase on Pro, the console, the Portal, controllers, cables, all this stuff, faceplates. Yep, yeah, I think we got everything.
We got everything.
What about a VR headset? What are you talking about? We didn't make that.
We don't make a VR headset, do we?
Yeah.
Oh shit. I would say that if that were the case, you pointing that out actually signals to me that it is a case that they ran out or their supplies are running low of their chip war chest because they probably have PSVRs on their shelves and they don't have all that other stuff.
I mean, I don't think that has to do with chip supply. I think that's just
well, they're already made.
We have pent up demand for PSVRs. We got a warehouse full of them. We can't raise the prices because we're trying to get rid of these fucking things. No one's still
we have too many. We have too many. We can't, and we already have them made. So we've already sunk the cost into them. There's no additional cost for them. And we probably have enough PSVRs. PSVRs are not going to be a drag. PSVRs right now are not going to cost us anything to make because we already have too many of them for the demand.
We'll just stop making them, and we've got enough supply to last the next 3 years.
Yeah.
Not because we made too many, but because that's all.
So, yeah, that's because they're not selling.
Yeah.
Now, I know that there's another bigger story, but this story kind of leads into the Sony jacking prices up.
Wait,
and
I
the
wanted
war
to
chests.
say, AC Wraith said, we live in an age of online wish lists, and I know of nobody buying presents who reads them outside of parasocial buyers for online personalities. I think he means like the wish lists that other people make that you can look at.
Chris's family entirely runs on wish lists. Entirely.
I think wish lists are great, especially like at Christmas time. Just give someone your Amazon wish list and say, hey, look, anything on here is good. I think that is a wonderful thing to do.
I mean, I don't have anybody to really give wish lists to anymore. So, but that's probably why everybody's stumped by me because they don't know what to get me. What?
Your boyfriend?
Yeah, Yeah, he doesn't. I mean, he seemed to be really flummoxed on what to get me.
That's why you give him a wish list.
All right, I'll do a wish list because his whole family runs on it, and I'm not acclimated to that thing.
Just give him like five options. Like shrink it down, edit it.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I remember when Steam came out with their wish lists, it was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So the story that leads into this, although I think it is the biggest story of the week, and it is the thing that contributed to my existential dread and probably makes Nick happy. And I'm going to try to make the argument that this should not make you happy.
Okay.
OpenAI, and let's be real, the AI chip shortage is caused by AI companies, but the major contributor to this, if you're going to point to one AI company that started the problem, it's OpenAI. When they made that deal with Samsung in October, where it was estimated that they would eat up 40% of the chips in the world, and that's when that's when the prices started going nuts, because everybody rushed in to get contracts because one company just ate 40% of the chips in the world. So that's what triggered all of this. OpenAI is the thing that is fucking up everything. So OpenAI has shuttered this week. They unceremoniously just announced that they were getting rid of Sora, which were the short form AI based video making platform.
It was their attempt to do TikTok of AI.
AI TikToks, right.
Which that assumes that TikTok isn't already flooded with AI.
Yeah, true. But Sora was going to be that. And it was very much not encouraged by Hollywood. Hollywood was like, whoa, we don't like this, because now, this is the first step to AI movie making. This is going to be a threat to our entire way we do business. This is a threat to our profession.
They also didn't like that there was rampant copyright infringement. Again, copyright usage. You could do, I think Pikachu doing Coke was a popular one that kind of hit it off. Like, I don't know if Nintendo appreciates this.
Right. Well, Disney signed, they made a deal. When was it? I think it was back in December that they made a deal, a $1 billion deal about Sora, that they would be providing their assets so that users could use things from characters from Frozen, characters from Star Wars, characters from Moana, all these other different characters that were Disney characters, that it would give them the rights to be able to use that. OpenAI was going to give them $1 billion. So getting rid of Sora killed that $1 billion deal with Disney.
Yeah, important to note that money never actually exchanged hands.
No,
that deal was not a contract. This is something that we were talking about, but never actually happened.
No, it didn't actually happen. But
which
they
is a
were
trend
all
with
going towards
OpenAI.
Right. But here's where it gets really interesting. So this happened on Monday evening. On Tuesday morning. Monday evening, Walt Disney and opens a new tab, and OpenAI teams were working together on a project that were linked to Sora. So this was Monday evening. Disney's working with OpenAI people. As far as they know, they're actually literally working on a tool. OpenAI's just 30 minutes after that meeting, that's when OpenAI announces it's killing Sora. They didn't tell Disney.
Left hand and right hand are not talking to each other. There is no brain at the center of this organization.
Right. Moreover, Sam Altman didn't take a minute to let Disney know they're about to do this. They absolutely broadsided Disney. So this is I think that, and I've seen lots of quotes from lots of people in the industry, that this is a indication of companies losing confidence in OpenAI, because not
As they
only,
should.
well, they're actually getting rid of a lot of things that are costing them money, because they're about to release their IPO,
Well, they're
their
gonna
initial
try.
public offer. Right. So they're trying to cut down costs as much as possible.
Yeah,
But
no
in
more
this slash
adult
and burn,
mode. No more spicy chat GPT chats.
right. But like, for example, they made a deal with Microsoft about exclusivity of some of their features that were supposed to be, and this was quite some time ago. Microsoft opens the paper and finds out that Sam Altman just signed a deal with Amazon Web Services to use some of those features, despite the fact that they had an exclusivity deal already inked and paid for.
See, like, you're making a good case that our companies should not. They should lose faith in OpenAI.
Oh, absolutely. They should lose faith.
Andrew's in the chat screaming.
Oh,
He
what
said
does
there
he
are
say?
reasons this happened, and I have context. Gah!
Of course. Well, you're the one day that you're not. This is why you show up to the show. Hmm.
You can rant in
So,
the chat.
yeah, go ahead. Put it in the chat. We will absolutely put it in here. But here's the thing that is starting to happen. ChatGPT, well, OpenAI is starting to cut costs ahead of its IPO so that they can justify their $790 billion evaluation, which they can't because they hemorrhage cash. So they're trying to stop the hemorrhage.
Mm-hmm.
They've not been a good partner. In fact, even they signed a bunch of, Johnny Huang of
Yeah,
NVIDIA.
the old
Right.
app. That's the Apple guy, Johnny Ive.
No, not Johnny Ive. I'm talking about the head of
Oh,
NVIDIA.
Jensen Hong.
Jensen Huang. Jensen Huang has outwardly said that they're not looking at investing in any more money.
Yeah, there was an announcement that NVIDIA was going to invest $100 billion into OpenAI, and then 6 months later, yeah, no, that never happened. No, we don't
Yeah,
have any
that never
plans to do
happened.
that.
And he's like, we've invested 30 billion and that's about all we're going to do. So there is indications that the emperor's clothes are being recognized for being non-existent within the business community. That because, well, first off, they don't have a lot of resources. Their resources are coming from other people, other companies investing in them.
Yeah.
They are not, another interesting thing I found out, they have decided to not move forward into data centers. They are no longer building their own data centers. They are going to have to rely upon Oracle and Microsoft and Amazon to provide them the computing power.
Because data centers are expensive and hard to build.
They thought it was going to be easy and are finding out that they are not easy to build and they are not easy to maintain. So this makes them reliant upon those partners who are already very unhappy with them because they've kind of done shifty deals. Just as business practices, a bunch of companies are going, is this really the kind of company we want to be involved with? I understand move fast and break things, but that's supposed to be about technology, not about business practices. You are being too aggressive. You are not communicating with your partners. I mean, imagine if you had promised $1 billion to someone that there was supposed to be a project and you find out in the papers that they've killed the project. This leaves a mark on your reputation. I think that there is now a general starting to come to Jesus moment that OpenAI is a bad company to be involved in, not just financially, but also business practice wise. They are going to be reliant upon other companies that are already established, that they've already screwed over. They aren't making any money, and they don't communicate with their partners. They're investors. They're big corporate investors and major corporate partners. This is maybe not the company we want to put our money in.
And like to emphasize the data center thing, Ed Zitron, who writes a lot about this, one of his latest analyses was looking at, of all the announcements of data center projects, how much is actually being built. Answer, probably not surprising, very, very exceedingly little. It's like, oh, they promised to have a gigawatt of data center processing by like the end of 2026. They're at 50 megawatts instead of a gig. Like because, and that's where all the NVIDIA chips are going. So it's not necessarily OpenAI that's buying NVIDIA. It's all of the like little startups that want to get in on this, that want to fund OpenAI. So they'll say, we're going to build the data center. But they're running into weather issues, construction delays. Just construction itself is a pain in the ass, no matter where you do it. And data centers are massive. Like they are so big. I was talking to Ryan a couple weeks ago, and he was like, man, I wonder how long it's going to be until like someone tries to bomb a data center, right? Just until all this anti-AI gets so excessive that like something like that happens. But I thought about that and I kind of looked into it. And the thing is, data centers are so fucking big. You cannot actually destroy one. Like if you were so anti-AI, like I want to bomb a data center, you can't. They are they're the size of like stadiums. They're huge. So
The only way to bomb
means,
the only way to bomb a data center is by missile.
yes, but like what that means is it takes 5 years to build one, which means by the time you start at like 2023 building a data center, by the time you're done, the AI bubble's like already popped.
Well, that's just the construction part of it. You can like to the idea of move fast and
then
break things, but you know what never moves fast ever, 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 ever? The entitlement process, planning commissions, inspections, code enforcement. All of that has to happen before you even put a shovel in the ground. And then you have construction. And trust me, data centers are not moving quickly through the planning departments of America. Trust me on that. They are all fully aware that this is going to drain their electricity.
Well, and
this is going to drain their power and drive up power for all the people that live in that region. And they're aware of that. So they're asking for it will take at least 5 years to get a data center through planning.
And and that's what the anti-AI activists are actually doing. They're not resorting to violence. They're triggering an environmental review that will delay construction by 6 months because a 6-month delay will basically bankrupt the company building it.
Remember all those, big construction plans for mass transit and everything that were upended by a garter snake?
I don't remember that, but that sounds.
That was always, we had that. That was the way BART was delayed for years when they were building it because somebody found a garter snake. It was a protected garter snake. A lot of people were just essentially using code enforcement as a weapon against development.
Yeah.
That is why, honestly, that's why California doesn't have enough housing. This is why California doesn't have enough housing. It's because we have the environmental reviews, CEQA. CEQA shuts down stuff because you could pass everything and then all of a sudden you find a cricket, an endangered cricket. Boom, that's it. The spotted owl, that was another big one. You can't log a particular area of Oregon because of the spotted owl. This is a long history of doing this. Cool. But here they are. But I'm not saying that it was a boondoggle. I'm not saying it was a boondoggle at all, because these were development companies that were moving fast and trying to break things, and they met community opposition. That's where the whole idea of NIMBY came from, is I don't want you building here, so I am going to put up every single legal roadblock I possibly can so that you run out of money so that you never build this development. That's what's happening at the city level of all of these data centers across the country. So this is not going to happen anytime soon. And we're now starting to see, this is why you're like happy about this, and I'm happy about this too.
I see nothing wrong with any of this.
But
also, Andrew said this is the reason why they went to work for the Pentagon.
Right. And of course, that made people get rid of ChatGPT. The backlash on ChatGPT, or the backlash on OpenAI, as everybody's calling it, the Nopen AI, they're getting rid of it because of this. Now, yes, is it a good thing that this is happening? Yes. But a bubble, when it bursts, leaves destruction in its wake that takes time for it to recover. And you are going to see a global economic crash on the level of the housing crash, where it is going to take down major companies, major financiers. A bunch of companies are going to lose a lot. You're going to see an apocalypse in the banking industry, in the technology industry. You are going to see a lot of people losing their jobs as more companies are going to be pulling back and starting to get very conservative because the economy's not looking great all of a sudden. Even the ones that aren't in trouble are going to pull back because they know that the apocalypse is coming. And I'm going to not call it, but this is what gives me the existential dread, is that I'm starting to see the very early stages of the bubble bursting, the very earliest stages of it. And when that happens, it's not going to be good for everyone. Will it be good for the world economy? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Eventually. But it is in that eventually stage that's going to be very difficult to recover from.
Yes, and I can see the existential dread there. And then there's a reason for it, because yes, it will get worse before it gets better. The reason I don't have that existential dread is because basically I came to terms with that 6 months to a year ago. We're like, no, the bubble needs to pop.
Yes.
It needs that. You need to rip off that Band-Aid. You need to pop that blister. You need to, set that dislocated shoulder back in its socket. You need to do it. And so even if it causes like a lot of chaos, it has to happen.
And
we can't continue
I agree.
the way we're going now. So
absolutely.
You know what? The fire is going to be burning around me, and I'm going to be sitting with my PS Pro playing Crimson Desert going, this is fine. This is fine.
And this is another issue that's going to come up, is this is going to affect generations in a very different way. Gen X, if that happens, is fucked. Fucked in half fucked, because we're relying on the next 10 years of our economic security on our retirement. If everything crashes when we retire, all of the money that we have put into our retirement is now worth a half or a quarter of what we were expecting to retire on.
Take your money out of tech stocks, put it into Costco.
It doesn't matter. I mean, yeah, put it into Costco, but that in a certain case doesn't matter. Costco's going to get it down. This is going to be
but not as
a housing crisis.
Yes,
and
but that's
we have to rely.
But that's the thing. The housing crisis was a house of cards. You can't continue as it is, and it sucks for everybody. And look, the housing crisis revealed a bigger issue in the fact that no one actually was punished for it, which kind of brings us to where we are now. But that doesn't change the fact that you need this bubble to pop.
I'm not saying
people to get kind of fucked up, because
absolutely not saying that. Absolutely.
Going the way we are now, it will be worse.
This is why I have existential dread, because it does need to happen. It is a bad thing. This has happened,
a bad thing and a worse
control
thing.
it, but it's going to affect people like me more than it's going to affect people like you. It is going. There's nothing I can do, and it needs to happen.
Andrew says, has a millennial first time, Edie?
True. Yeah,
They,
it's first
they,
time.
maybe that's why I'm not thinking it's not that big
Well,
of a deal. Look, man, I lived through the housing crisis. I lived through the COVID pandemic. There's been a once a generation disaster every 10 years since I hit 20.
right. And we lived all through that too. But the thing is, we up until this moment had the luxury of time to be able to whatever we lost, we knew that we could recover at a later date. Don't panic. It'll be fine. You'll build it back up eventually. And it did. We got it all back. This time it's happening at the point when there is no opportunity for us. We're at the end of our working lives. This is it for us. There is no, it'll be fine in 10 years. There is no
Yeah.
10 years.
I
This
just
is
assumed,
it.
yeah. He said, I just assumed I would never have a retirement.
Right. Well,
yeah, man, Edie, boy, if you can collect Social Security, you're lucky.
oh no. I mean,
I'm never
didn't,
going to do that.
not gonna,
I'm going to pay into Social Security my entire life, and I'm not going to get a dime back.
I'm going to pay into, I have paid Social Security in my entire life. And if they would have allowed me to not pay into Social Security and put it into a bank account, just making bank account interest, I would end up with more money. So we might get some money back, but we're not getting all our money back.
No.
Not by a long shot. And you guys are going to do the same thing. So this is why I'm full of dread.
It's a tough place to be, for sure.
Right. I'm hoping that none of you had this happen within 5 years. I mean, I'm 5 years away from hopefully not working, hopefully being able to retire, because I've worked my ass off to get to this point and saved a lot of money to get to this point. I'm hopefully going to do it. But in 5 years, I think we are going to be in the depth of this bubble bursting because I'm seeing it start to happen now. And there is why it has been a very bad week for me where I just want to get in my bed and pull the covers over my head and just drink until I pass out. And when I wake up and throw up, go to the bathroom, have some water, have something to eat, then drink until I pass out again. I want to do that for the next 10 years.
I wish that I could say something to like ease your fear, but all I can say is, yeah, I went through that a year ago, which is why I'm just like, oh, yeah, I don't know what, is this new? No, I came to terms with that a year ago. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, we're going to be all absolutely fucked for the next 5 years.
I knew we were going to be fucked. I knew that the bubble was going to burst. Now I'm actually starting to see it.
But it's not just the AI bubble, right? It's the AI bubble plus tariffs plus everything else plus a war in Iran that's driving up gas prices and everything. Like it's the Trump administration coupled with AI that creates this perfect storm of chaos that is going to like really mess up financial markets for the next decade. And
I wasn't gonna drink today, and now I want to make a cocktail so bad.
Well, okay, let's some of the chat. Andrew has been texting a lot,
screaming at the top of his lungs. I'm sure
he was talking about why OpenAI kind of closed a bunch of their things. He says it's because Claude was actually making more money than them, and the focus on engineering, programming, industry things. OpenAI was trying to make popular tools with the general public, but it wasn't making money. Claude was going the Microsoft route of, focus on enterprise. OpenAI was trying to go the Apple route of focusing on consumers, but consumers are fickle. And honestly, like OpenAI, like consumers are cheap. Consumers don't want to pay for shit. Enterprise businesses, they will happily pay out the nose.
And consumers
be gouged.
Consumers have an opinion about stuff. And they will cancel their subscription to you when you make deals with the Pentagon.
Yeah. So yeah, they pivoted to the same markets as Claude. Yeah, which is why they agreed to work for the Pentagon, which isn't great. And he says that it will be so much worse. It's also the devastation left in the wake of AI. Tech companies that go under because of the DRAM shortage, the lack of innovation anywhere else that's not AI. And AC Wraith says, I'm like Gen X. All the millennial stuff hit me too. I just had a time without internet. I'll never have retirement either. Now unemployed time with no money that I have tons of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm the first year of Gen X. You're the last year of Gen X. So yeah. Not looking good, but I called it here. The bubble is starting to burst. And how quickly it happens is the question. If it happens slowly over a period of time, but I think that if I were going to pick the shot heard around the world, the moment that the bubble is going to burst quickly, it is going to be the D-Day. It's going to be the IPO.
I agree, because IPOs are regulated. And part of that regulation means you have to show your internal financial documents. And once OpenAI has to do that, they're like poor business practices. And the fact that they're hemorrhaging money, it will no longer be just something a couple people on the internet are talking about. It will be like in the Financial Times. It will be documented. And at that point, you can't spin it because they're losing too much money, and that scares investors away. Which is why I'm actually really surprised that OpenAI is trying to IPO, because that seems like the last thing they would want to do.
Yeah. Well, they need the money. That when you have an IPO on a company that isn't making money, it is what they call the cash out. This is the rug pull. By the way, literally somebody in Disney that would not speak on the record. Well, they wouldn't. They spoke anonymously about what happened with Disney and Sora. They literally called it a rug pull on them. But this is the rug pull. This is the rug pull for Sam Altman.
That makes sense,
that because IPO. Yep.
They spent all this. They spent all this time. They've taken all the investor money that they can, because they've gotten so many billions of dollars over time that, like, there aren't any investors left to give another $100 billion.
Certainly not to a company that has already rug pulled, quote unquote, Disney.
Yeah. And that has made a bunch of announcements, like the NVIDIA one, of, hey, we didn't make this big deal, but it didn't actually happen. They say, no, not. I did the same thing you did.
Thank you.
Andrew says there's a version of this that deflates rather than bursts due to the administration. AI companies have been going hard, sucking up to the administration, so that when it pops, they will get bailed out. It's still going to be devastating, but not for AI companies. I disagree. I don't think the Trump administration cares enough about either of the AI companies to bail them out.
I don't think that there will be enough will within, because it's not just Trump administration, it also has to be legislature. I think that,
yes,
given what's happening, I think in the next few months that the political profile of Washington is going to be significantly different. You will not have Donald Trump as a president and the Republicans controlling the House and the legislature. That's going to end. And when that happens, typically, granted, atypical times, things don't happen like they normally happen. But typically, that means that there is at least a check and balance, that the president can't just decree something. It's got to go through the legislature and be approved. But if you don't have the control of the legislature, then it's not a sure thing. So it limits, that's the checks and balances. It kind of sort of limits the control of the president, that's why they're not a king. They can't just decree something and it happens. And I don't think there's going to have to be a lot of changes within the Constitution to allow Donald Trump to do this unilaterally. And I don't think that the legislature is going to be in the same place it is now, that something like that could easily happen.
Yeah. I also think there's a PR
AI companies. AI companies are not too big to fail. It's not going to destroy every man, every woman out there if AI fails the way that it did with banks.
Yes.
Banks would actually take everybody's money and make it disappear. That's what they stopped happening. This isn't going to do that for AI. I don't think that this is going to fly.
Yeah. And I think there's a PR aspect to it where if it gets really big, it tries to IPO, a lot of the investment fails, a lot of, stock falls. the Trump administration at this point needs some good PR. If AI becomes a boogeyman, it's very easy to not bail them out, right? Then bailing out the boogeyman is just another PR hit. But if AI becomes a boogeyman, just like don't bail them out, and that becomes like, oh, hey, a bit of a PR boost at a time when like the administration could really need it.
Yeah, I was actually read a Trump from something called the Koblenz letter. Let me post this so that everybody can see. Stand by if everything will work properly. There we go.
You say Koblenz, and I think of Kobayashi Maru.
No, it's not a Kobayashi Maru. So the Koblenz letter that said, breaking, President Trump is set to appoint Mark Zuckerberg, Larry Ellison, and Jensen Huang to a new technology council. This is according to the Wall Street Journal. The council will include 24 people and be co-chaired by David Sachs, and will be focused on AI policy. What's interesting, and I will scroll down, the real story is who's not on the list. No Musk, no Altman, no Microsoft. Musk and Altman are in active litigation against each other, so including either creates a legal headache. But excluding Microsoft, OpenAI's biggest backer, while including Oracle and Meta, signals where the administration sees the AI power center shifting.
No, it doesn't. It's because Zuckerberg and Ellison sucked up the most.
Right.
That's why. It's not about power shift. It's not a political move. It's a personal move.
It's a personal move. That is true. But at the same time, leaving him out, like it is a bit of a signal that he does not see these platforms as being the power centers of the future. In this AI technology, the power centers are going to be Microsoft, Oracle, Amazon.
No Musk, and that's a thread from Twitter X.
Yeah.
And Andrew said the AI market is probably one of the tent poles holding up the economy right now, or at least it's making it look good. Trump and his family is heavily invested in AI. He has a vested interest to keep it up.
True, he does.
To a degree, but also like at a certain point, Hong is pretty molar deep with Trump right now too. He really is.
And keep in mind that we are talking about, former business practices. Everybody voted him in because they wanted him to run the country like it was a business. Here's the thing about Trump's businesses. Right. He is. He's absolutely running it like a Trump business. What Trump businesses do is they create buzz, they sell hopes and dreams and promises, then they get investors to invest in it, and then they rug pull. And if you don't think that them being heavily invested in AI was going to mean that they're going to prop up AI, you're a fool. They're going to rug pull AI. That's what they do. That is a typical business practice of Trump Industries. Is they sell and then they leave everybody behind with bankruptcy courts take care of whatever they lost.
I feel like this is the same mistake everyone's been making for the past decade of assuming that because you get in his good graces, he won't throw you under the bus.
Just ask Christine.
That has never been the case. Them being heavily invested in AI, they will sell those investments the week before they make an announcement that pulls the rug. Right. Like there is no friendliness, like there's no obligation to anything.
None.
Which is why I don't think that the AI will be bailed out. I don't think the administration has any reason to do that.
No. So I know I said I didn't want to talk an hour about something, and I think we all talked about this for an hour. But yeah, this is where my head's at. That I'm starting to see it, and even though I know it needs to happen, even though it is a better thing than this bubble continuing in this untenable way, I also know that everything is going to get a lot worse, and I'm not looking forward to that a lot worse period before it gets better.
Well, I think we said it with Andrew a couple weeks ago. Like, enjoy the small things.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying Crimson Desert. Enjoy Crimson Desert. Enjoy Slay the Spire.
Yeah.
Like, whatever movie's coming out, go see that and enjoy it. And like, just go outside, go for a walk. Like, enjoy the little things that you
Go
can,
touch
because
grass.
those things will still be there.
Mhm. So, in
Yeah,
other
I'm sure this doesn't help your feelings about that, Edie. I'm sorry.
Mm-mm.
Oh, he
No,
also
as I
says
said.
the treasury is declared insolvent.
Mhm. Mhm.
We'll see
Yeah.
about that. Oh,
So,
and Kropotkin is here.
hey! Oh my God! Are you really here? I haven't heard from you in a million years.
Yay for touching grass.
Yeah. That's about all we've got. It's about all I'll be able to
And
afford in my
I mean, like
retirement.
grass on the ground and grass in your hand.
No, I'm not gonna be able to afford that. I'm not going to be able to afford that with my retirement money at this point if it crashes. When it crashes, not if, it's when.
Just go back to drinking rubbing alcohol.
Yes, yes. Rubbing alcohol and bed. That's what I'm planning. That's my retirement right there. So moving right along into more wonderful news. Epic cut 1,000 jobs this week.
Yeah.
That was actually what Nick had said is the number 2 story, and I had to kind of hijack it because the beginning of the collapse of OpenAI is so inextricably connected to the price increase of the PlayStation 5. But yeah, Epic has cut
Yeah.
1,000 jobs. That is 20% of its workforce.
Which also, like, let's take a moment. 1,000 jobs is 20% of the workforce. That means they had 5,000 people at Epic. Like, Naughty Dog, I think was 300 people. That is an insane number. 5,000 people for a developer, not a publisher. They're not Microsoft. They're not Sony. This is one developer. These are the people that made Gears of War. And there's 5,000 employees. That is insane how big that company is. And even now, 4,000 is still mind-bogglingly big for a single developer.
It is arguable that they are possibly the most bloated company in technology, in gaming right now at 4,000 employees, even now, but at 5,000 employees. But it also points out how much they
I guess
rely
he
on
says they are a
Fortnite.
publisher. That's true.
Yeah, that's true. But it does point up that how reliant they are on Fortnite, because the reason why they cut 20% of their workforce was lower than expected engagement in Fortnite.
Yeah. Which, hey, you know what? At least it's not AI.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
they specifically said in their
They
announcement
said
that
it's not related to AI. They
this
did say
isn't
that.
this isn't AI. We're just spending way more money than we make, which
Right.
also might be because he funded a massive years-long lawsuit against Google and Apple, and they're still funding the Epic Store, which loses like $500 million a year,
Right.
I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
They
Andrew also says that Unreal Engine 5 is huge and that requires a ton of work. So okay, you're right. It's not just a single developer. They do have a publishing arm and they do have an engine arm. So they're not like EA.
True, but the cost, well, the cost of not being available on Apple and also on Google for so long probably affected
Oh
their
yeah,
user base. And
absolutely.
then also the cost of the lawsuit was not small. Now,
No.
did they win? Absolutely, they won, but it wasn't a cheap victory by any terms, and I doubt that they have returned any kind of income from the loss of being off of the platforms for that
Yeah,
long,
not yet.
plus the cost of it required to get back on the platform with the lawsuit. It was a big financial hit,
I
and it's an
also
important loss, but it's an important victory, but I think at this point it's one of those Pyrrhic victories where they fell on the sword.
yeah. I also think that there's an element of the failure of the metaverse in this as well. Because in this announcement, they said that they're closing 3 different modes. Do you happen to
Mhm.
have those?
No, but I can look it up if you wanna keep looking. I forgot what they were.
Okay, yeah. So a while ago, they expanded Fortnite significantly. It's no longer just a battle royale game. It's got player creations that you can do. They wanted to turn it into Roblox. And as part of that initiative, they added like a whole bunch of other modes to it.
Right.
And they're
There
posing.
so it was rocket racing, ballistic, and festival battle stage. And removing
Yeah.
the racing games Horizon Chase Turbo from sale. And
And
Horizon Chase.
so I think they expanded to try to be like Roblox, to try to, be a metaverse. And what they're realizing is that they didn't have the player population to sustain all those other modes, so they're cutting them all off.
Mhm.
It's a
Yeah.
this isn't because of AI. This is because of the failure of the metaverse. This is a throwback to the glory days of 2022.
Now, I'm going to be the schlepplock here and even make it worse that all those people lost their jobs. Can I tell you a story that even is going to make you really like farther into this existential dread?
Okay.
So, one of the people laid off this week was a guy named Michael Prinke. And after he was laid off, his wife, Jenny Griffin, revealed on social media that he has been battling terminal brain cancer. And as an Epic employee, he had life insurance because of his employer. And he has brain cancer that is terminal and he is going to die. Well, when he was laid off, yes, they do get his health care for 3 months after the layoffs, but they ended the life insurance, which means that she was expecting to have his life insurance to help get her over the hump, pay for the burial, pay for the mortgage for a couple of months while
Oof.
she's trying to figure out what to do with her family. And she can't get other health insurance or life insurance because he has terminal brain cancer. No one will give him life insurance. So she said, now, as I face the reality of losing my husband, I'm also facing the reality of what type of funeral burial I can afford. How will I keep the roof over our heads? How will I protect our son and the life we built together? What will happen to our dogs? Mike is not just a number. He's a father, a husband, and a person deeply loved.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh, I mean, if you're laying off 1,000 people,
There's going to be stories about that.
statistically, there's something like this is going to happen. Like
Mhm.
if you just take a sledgehammer to your company, you're going to fuck over some people in a really significant way.
And this is also kind of probably the result of a company that has 5,000 employees, that you can't know what's going on with 5,000 employees.
Yeah.
You
I
can't
believe
know that we don't have to lay him off. You know why? Because he's going to be dead in a few months. Don't worry about it. Leave him on. It's fine.
I
They
know
could do that, but
Epic
they
or
don't know.
Tim Sweeney has responded to that tweet.
Oh, good.
And part of it is he said that. He quote, Epic is in contact with the god damn it. Epic is in contact with the family and will solve the insurance for them. There is a
Ugh.
high confidentiality around medical information, and it was not a factor in this layoff decision. Sorry to everyone for not recognizing this terribly painful situation and handling it in advance. But that goes to what you said, where, yeah, medical information is private. We didn't know he had brain cancer.
Right.
We just
But
fired him because,
he was a
it made the
number.
number
He
go
was
up.
just a name. He was a name on a list with a
Yeah.
job and a certain salary, and we cut that salary and that name on that list. But the thing is, his members of his team knew just because that's the downside of working for a very large company that can't possibly know their employees
Yeah.
on a personal basis. Uh, Somebody in that company knew that he had brain cancer. But you can't possibly know all of the stories of 1,000 people that you're firing. So it just sucks. And he's right. They would never have reported to the company that he had brain cancer.
Yeah.
But
And
that's why you have to have really good touch with your employees, and you can't do that in a corporation like
and
this.
this is like one of those weird instances where oh, we're gonna go on to Twitter and X and make it a news story. Because if they had gone through like the proper channels, no one
Never
ever
would have
would have
happened.
cared. But because it became a bad PR news story, now we're gonna get it taken care of.
Tim Sweeney heard. There's
Yeah.
no way she would have been able to contact them and say, "What are we going to?" I can guarantee you she called HR. I can guarantee you she called HR, but she was not able to get through to Tim Sweeney. Nobody in HR would say, "Hey, this is a unique situation. What can we do?" But that's what a corporation is. It's a big corporation like that can't have that kind of, you know, anyway.
In the chat,
But I'm glad
Kropotkin
that got sold.
says, I'm too European for this conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, you are. You absolutely
and
are.
and Vice is in the chat.
Hey, Vice, how are you?
His greetings.
Man.
Yes, this is wild.
By the way, Kropotkin, are you doing anything now? Doing any podcasts, doing any shows that we can?
Speaking of that, he just said, I have a new job starting after Easter.
Really? Well, his vocation is very different from his avocation. He is he is a mechanical engineer and also an epic and legendary podcaster. He not only did God dang him, what's the name of your first show? The one where I met you. But he also did The Sausage Factory, which he shut down, very gracefully shut down a few years ago. That was one of the best podcasts. If you are interested in not just the stuff that we do, the news about the industry, but how games are made from the point of view of people that are in the industry making it, you can go back and listen to old episodes of The Sausage Factory, and you will gain such an understanding of how that sausage is made. Really good show. So, yeah, go listen to it. There's nothing to stop you to listen to old shows. They're just as timeless.
Yeah.
But yeah, are you working on anything now? I can't believe that
He
you
said,
wouldn't be
I'm on
podcasting.
Retro Asylum and Cane and Rise podcasts. I just
Cane and
recorded
Rinse.
a Cane and Rinse. I just recorded a Retro Asylum episode on a new games for the Game Boy. What the fuck?
Well, that's news to us. So
okay. The Game Boy never dies.
Look up Retro Asylum and Cane and Rinse. He's been on Cane and Rinse for a very long time too. I forgot about Cane and Rinse. And connect with me on how's the best way to connect with me? I can't connect.
Discord.
Go to our Discord, sir. Go to our Discord. Connect with me on Discord. I'll send you a private message. But I want to see if you were going to be around or if I'm going to be around in your neck of the woods sometime soon, which may also, I know I've been threatening to do that for years, but actually this might happen.
Cool.
All right. So,
that's okay. So yeah, what else you got? I didn't have any news stories because you had all the big ones.
If I was going to pick a good story, the one that doesn't make you kind of want to drink yourself into oblivion,
it's good to have at least one of those a week.
Yeah. Well, this is no longer an Xbox. The marketing slogan that confused a generation is gone.
See, like I thought that was a good marketing. I think people hated the message, but the marketing was excellent.
Right. But it's not just gone. It's not just ended. It's not that they're no longer using it. Asha Sharma, the new head of Xbox, has directed the scrubbing of this is an Xbox marketing campaign from the internet. And that was confirmed by a Microsoft spokesperson. So it's not just that they're no longer going to be using it. They have nuclear eliminated it from everywhere they can. So the statement reads, Asha retired This is an Xbox because it didn't feel like Xbox. She is personally leading a reset of how we show up as a brand. But part of that is making sure that there is as little trace as possible of the old marketing of This is an Xbox.
But see, it's so weird to do that because they're not actually changing their business. They're not all of the business practices that made this is an Xbox make sense. They're still doing all that stuff. They're just not doing the this is an Xbox marketing slogan. So they're not actually changing anything. They're just going to they're just going to paint over it.
Put a new slogan on it. And arguably, given the announcement of the Xbox essentially being a Steam machine, a PC, the console
Oh yeah, there
convenience.
was an Xbox partner event this week.
Oh yeah.
There was another whole lot that was announced, like not big stuff. It was
Yeah.
But yeah.
But
I forgot about that.
given that the new Xbox is going to be a PC with the console experience, that this is an Xbox, it's actually more accurate to what it was when Xbox was an Xbox, if that makes sense. That everything is going to be an Xbox because even a PC is an Xbox, because an Xbox
Yeah.
is a PC. So it's all Xbox. So
Mhm.
I think that this really it's a bit of a nothing burger, but I think, and I would never have even mentioned it because this is an Xbox needed to die a death anyway because it was just stupid and it confused everybody and
See,
nobody really liked the message of what it was sending. But the fact that
thought it
she's
was clever.
scrubbing it from the internet is very telling about Asha Sharma and what will be her reign at Xbox. She is not taking the company into a new direction. She is slashing and burning and going to rebuild it in her image. Now, what her image is, it might be a good thing, might be a bad thing.
She's not. The things they were doing before are the things they're doing now. She's not rebuilding anything. She's just erased the other people. You know,
other people's work,
cover
taking the
their
name
names.
off of somebody else's
Yeah,
paper and putting your name on it.
Exactly. That's all she's doing.
You're
That's
right.
all she's
You're
doing.
right. You're right. It's exactly what she's doing. And she is making a point of erasing all the names, everything because that was Sarah Bond.
Yeah.
You know that this is an Xbox with Sarah Bond.
That was one of the things that came out of like, oh, Sarah Bond really pushed for that.
Oh, to have been a fly on the wall when Sarah Bond read that. Yeah. And she's actually, and also trying to eliminate everything that maybe somebody else had done in the past, their names off of stuff. She's carving out the Kennedy in the Kennedy Center and putting Trump, that's what she's done.
I did see another rumor that she had been talking with like the head of Netflix, not Reed Hastings, different guy, Ted Sarandos.
Yes.
And to see like, oh, maybe we could bundle the services to make it something to make Game Pass cheaper. And it's like, motherfucker, you shot yourself in that foot, and now you're like, I'm gonna bandage that foot. Isn't this good? I am gonna bandage this bullet wound. That's a good idea, right? I should be praised for that. It's like, motherfucker, you shot yourself.
You shot yourself.
Who did this? You're holding the gun. So I'm curious to see what's going on, but a lot of what's come out of Xboxes it's a lot of, like I said, take off their name, put my name on it, and oh, isn't this great news? Like that's what you were doing before. So it's a lot of that. But I'm curious. I am curious to see what they do because God, they need to do something. They're desperate enough that they could do something really interesting,
or really stupid, and it just might be just great.
Oh, absolutely.
Theater.
Yeah.
So that's all the stories that I have, and it has been a really not very long show by our standards. It's only been a 2-hour show, but still, it's a 2-hour show. It's a pretty long show.
I guess I'll just end on two things that I think are like uplifting. In that Xbox Partner Showcase, they had a trailer for The Expanse: Osiris Reborn, the Expanse game. It actually is starting to look really cool. Like, take Mass Effect, but set it in the Expanse universe. And it's like, you might be cooking something real good there. It's really cool.
That sounds cool.
Also, there was an interview with PC Gamer about Star Wars Zero Company, which is the Star Wars XCOM style game.
Mhm.
And in that, they basically announced that, you know how in XCOM you would go back to your base and it would be like an ant farm?
Mhm.
In this one, you're not going to have that ant farm. It's going to be a big 3D hub that you wander around, similar to the Normandy. So take a little bit of Mass Effect with a little bit of XCOM, put it in the Star Wars universe. It's like, again, you could be cooking up something really good there.
That is that could be that could be great. It could
Yeah.
also be terrible.
Good, but you know what? I'm going to be optimistic. You've got really good ingredients here. So, hey.
Mhm. And I admire anyone willing to take a risk like that of trying to create something new
Yeah.
using, like you said, good ingredients, good bones. That's what the game industry up until a few years ago has been, and it hasn't been ever since. It's all just been live service, live service, live service.
We've got Beltalowda in the Expanse term, and then probably it says the Stormtroopers will have -90 on all of their rolls to hit.
Yeah. By the way,
Yeah.
I'm starting to watch The Mandalorian. I never actually watched it. I
Oh,
stopped, which is kind of a red letter day. I have not watched any Star Wars after the last Star Wars that Kevin worked on because he was so upset about how he was treated, and now I can't quite bring myself to watch it. But
okay. With
with
did
the
you
new
see
Mandalorian,
did
go
you
ahead.
see Rise of Skywalker?
Mm.
Okay. If you don't like Star Wars, you should watch
I
it.
do love Star Wars. I love
Okay.
Star Wars.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're angry, you should watch it. That is one of the most shockingly bad blockbuster movies I have ever seen in my life. You watch it and you go, how?
How did you do?
How? What?
Okay.
Why? What could what the fuck, man?
I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that.
Okay, you don't need to hate watch. The
I don't need to hate
Mandalorian,
watch.
the Mandalorian is actually
Yeah.
pretty good.
And Kropotkin said, good show. Not as good as Andor, though. Well,
Oh,
we're kind of
Andor is
preparing myself for the movie that's coming out.
okay. Andor is so good that I think it kind of ruined Star Wars for me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think I said it before. Like Andor takes the rise of the empire and the fascist totalitarianism state seriously, so seriously that when it leads into A New Hope, and A New Hope is a gee whiz adventure, boy, we're having fun and we got laser swords and we're flying spaceships, and it's like, oh my god, it's like a Disney version of 9/11. This is kind of fucked up.
Okay. I'm down for that. I could do that.
Andor's very good. AC Worth also said rip to Catherine of Sky. I don't know her.
I don't know her. Did anybody want to
R.I.P.
elucidate?
Yeah, what did she do? He said that I enjoyed her work.
Don't know. Well, unfortunately, I don't know. Yeah.
Yes, R.I.P.
Any other things that you need to talk about or want to talk about?
No, just two slightly more positive things to end on.
All right, good deal. All right, so let's talk the next couple of weeks.
Yeah,
we are going to be
off
dark
next week, right?
Well, I'm off next week. I don't know if Andrew can fill in for me as a second chair for the next 2 weeks. So you are going to want to look into the Discord, and I'm going to rely upon Nick to advise you in the Discord of whether we're going to have the next 2 weeks. I am going to
Catherine
be
of
in
Sky worked
Disneyland.
on Factorio, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Rick reviews. He says,
Factorio's
"Hey,
huge.
look at the GameHounds, all vert." Yeah, we actually have 2 feeds right now. We have horizontal and vertical.
Okay, yeah, she worked on a big Satisfactory.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not just Factorial Crisis. Rick Review says Disney. My condolences. I'm only there for 1 day. It's fine. I get to ride. I get to go to the Blue Bayou and get some gumbo and some Monte Cristo sandwiches. Best Monte Cristo sandwiches in the country, right there. And I get to ride some rides. And I get to spin as fast as I possibly can in the teacup because the teacups are still Just
It's
stupid
still
fun.
there.
Still there.
Still
Still
there.
stupid fun. Yeah, the meal
That
should only
meal-
situation. Yeah, the boyfriend's paying for the Blue Bayou. Also, the Blue Bayou is going through a makeover. It's going to go through a refresh. It's going to be closed for 3 months right after we're
Oh.
there. So we're going to be one of the last
timing.
people to see the Pirates of the Caribbean in its old form and before it gets its zhuzh.
Hmm.
All right. So check your Discord to
Yes.
determine if we're if we're having a show either of the next 2 weeks, and I'll give you the dates of these. The 2 weeks are going to be April 5th and April 5th, and why did you do that? Oh, I got rid of my calendar. April 5th and April 12th. So either of those 2 dates, if you're not on our Discord, you should absolutely go to our Discord right now, sign up so that you will be able to find out if we're having a show. Also, it's where we all connect with each other.
Easter Sunday.
Yes, April
Didn't know
5th
that.
is Easter Sunday. We're really not very observant, but I was having an argument of whether I should make a ham and scalloped potatoes, and the answer was you should go get Betty Crocker potatoes au gratin. And I was like, absolutely not. I
You
have
should,
standards.
You should have some rabbit.
Why rabbit? Oh, on Easter? That's
Yeah.
awful. Nobody would touch it. I have eaten rabbit. It's fine. It's rabbit. Yeah. One
Have
of
some
two things
eggs.
would have to happen. I would have to tell them and then they wouldn't eat it. Or I wouldn't tell them they'd eat it and then I would be murdered in my sleep for doing so. So, Kropotkin says, good show, not as good as Andor.
You know what? Fair. I'll
least
take it.
Yeah, put us in our place. That's okay.
Yeah, he said giant chocolate egg time. So there's that.
Yeah,
You're snacking on a hobnob earlier.
Yeah,
Still not sure what's in that Cadbury egg from Rick Reviews.
I know. It's a little weird, isn't it? I don't do chocolate anymore. This is this is why I now look the way I do. I don't really do chocolate. I mean, I do some, a little bit, but chocolate eggs don't have the same pull that they used to for me. All right. So on that note, can we close out the show, Nick?
Yeah.
All right. Let's close this out. You've been listening to GameHounds. GameHounds, episode 814. We recorded this on March 29th, 2026. I'm Edie Sellers. With me has been Nick DiNicola. Ways to get a hold of us. GameHounds.net is our website. GameHounds@gmail.com is our email. We record this show live every Sunday, unless we are not here, at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, on Facebook, and Twitch. On YouTube, we are GameHounds Vids, all one word, VIDS, as in videos. On Facebook, we are The GameHounds, and on Twitch, we are The GameHounds. Please come to see us any of those places live, but if you can't do it live, that's okay. We do release this as an audio podcast on Apple Podcasts. You can listen to it on pretty much every platform. We're on iHeartRadio, we're on Spotify, all those places. You just look us up, you will find our podcast. And we would love to have you. If you are listening there and you've never come to our live show, please come. We do more on the show than we do on the podcast because we can't really release an incredibly long podcast. We try not to. So if you want to hear and interact with us live, you can come and visit us Sundays at 2 p.m. noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. If you are anywhere, whether you're watching it live now or you're listening to us as a podcast, do us, Nick and me, a huge favor. Please leave us some feedback. Any little note just to say, great show, awful show, hate these people, love them, whatever. Also, if you're watching and you have the ability to leave a like, leave a subscribe, hit a notification bell, whatever the little thing you can do would help. We're not as big as we used to be, but that's because a lot of people can't find us. So all of those things help other people who may have lost touch with us find us again. So you're doing us a favor, you're doing them a favor. Also, if you want to help support us, patreon.com/GameHounds. We have a Patreon. $1 a month is all we ask. $1 a month. That's a pretty good deal per hour entertainment. And on top of it, it helps us pay for some of the stuff that we have going on, all of the subscriptions that are required to do this show. And of course, our Discord. Like has been said numerous times, that's the way to get a hold of us. Nick, thank you so much for being on the show. I will see you in 3 weeks.
Absolutely.
All right. Have a great week, everyone. Take care. And hopefully, if you have any questions, just leave us on the Discord.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Okay, that's the end of the show. Hopefully, if you need us, if any of you need to get a hold of me, you know where to find me. Go to the Discord. I'm probably going to be checking it a lot, especially as I'm going to be standing in line waiting for rides or sitting in Los Angeles traffic, because Los Angeles traffic is no fucking joke.
Yeah.
We complain about it up here about traffic. And the traffic here is bad. The worst traffic is Boston. Boston makes LA look like San Francisco. But LA traffic is something special. Last year when we were down there, it was during the LA occupation by ICE and the no ICE protests. And we saw a number of very interesting stuff. We saw an ICE enforcement happen with, it was scary, a phalanx of black vans going down as fast, the main road, as fast as they possibly could with their doors open. Like we're about to jump out and have an action. And it was some restaurant or some place in Anaheim. So that was definitely stuff that we saw that was happening. I did feel like we were a bit in the heart of what was going on, but hopefully that's not going to happen this year. We just had the big No Kings protest already. I didn't go to the Giants game because of the No Kings protest, because I didn't want to deal going to the Giants game with all those people anyway.
I also heard the Giants are not doing very well.
No, but I was able to sell my tickets for 3 times what I paid for them. So
that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's going to offset all of the other costs of games that I'm not going to be able to sell because the Giants are probably not going to do very well this year. All right. The only thing that sucks about the Giants, I mean, I would be perfectly okay with the Giants doing poorly this year, except for the fact that I'm dating a Dodger fan. And he's going to be fucking miserable. He's he's already starting to be miserable, but it's just going to be so fucking miserable. And yeah, this is the year, I think, where my hate for the Dodgers will be amplified on a murderous level, because I know he's just going to be miserable to me, and I know my Giants are going to be terrible. We're not going to be in a race for anything. We're going to be fighting to stay off the bottom, I have a feeling. I mean,
embrace every Dodger loss.
I could pretend I'm not a baseball fan, except for the fact I'm a season ticket holder.
It's hard.
So it's hard to kind of say I don't care, but I do. But
Palace isn't getting relegated this year.
You're not getting relegated. Oh, so did you make midfield?
His team?
Yeah, he's Crystal Palace. He when I started being his, like hanging out with him, Crystal Palace wasn't even in the Premier League. I don't even know what league you were in. Were you even in the Champions League? But yeah, they got promoted, and I was actually like, hey, Crystal Palace is in the Premier League. Go fucking figure. And they've been there for quite a few years, and I know that they were 14. Okay, good. You're safe. My team, I'm not gonna lie, I'm an American. I have to like Wrexham. Also, I really do like Wrexham. It's a great team. This year, it's getting, now that they're starting to get a little bit farther up, they're no longer, in those lower leagues. They don't really have the people with the personality that they used to have, like the really great teams, like not the teams, but like, great.
Yeah, the characters on the team.
The characters, right. Like they're, like you knew that there's these two people really work together well and they kind of make a great team themselves. Just really good characters. We're not getting that so much anymore because now we're in hopefully eventually Premier League play, Champions League play, but we are looking like we might. I actually hope it doesn't. I hope it doesn't happen. Go back to back to back to back.
Oh,
Because
promotions?
Wrexham
Yeah, that
might
would
be
be
in the
tough.
playoffs. Wrexham is lined up right now to be in the playoffs. It is a
Really?
very much, yes, it is very, very much a possibility. And I don't
They
know.
still don't have a stadium.
They don't have a stadium. I know. This is a problem. They don't have the depth.
Yeah,
They don't
they've
have
gone
the
too fast
clubs.
up. Hmm.
They haven't created a club of kids to grow through the ranks. This is essentially why I hate the Dodgers so much. Is what Wrexham's doing, but the thing is, Wrexham's doing it from a place of they're good people. They're not like just assholes wanting to buy. They're not coming. They didn't come in and say, "I want to buy into a championship league. I just want to buy a Premier League team and just get into the Premier League,
Hmm.
and I want to win the cup." They didn't do that. This is a team that has had to work very hard to do this. That being said, I really would love them to have a few years in the Champions League to build a stadium, get some clubs going,
Yeah.
have a practice field. They don't have a practice pitch. I mean, they do, but it's not really. It's just this amateur hour, and they are going to be outclassed at a level that I can't accept. But there is a significant possibility of going back to back to back to back on this one. And I'm watching it very carefully. I'm watching all the games.
I'll have to see. Do you know when the playoff games are?
Well, I mean,
Are they happening now or
they
like
haven't.
next month? Or?
It hasn't hit the end of the thing. I forget when the
No,
playoffs
okay.
actually officially happen, but they're right now jockeying for the position to be in the playoffs.
Hmm.
They're not in the playoffs yet. They're definitely
Okay.
not going to be, one of the two. I think it's two. The top two just get promoted automatically. They're not going for automatic promotion, but then there is going to be for that third spot a little bit of a playoff there, and they are, I think, possibly only a few points outside of that. Essentially, a few weeks
Okay.
ago, all they had to do was win. What was it? They had to get 12 points in 20 games. So
That's
that's
like win half of them?
doable, assuming that nobody that they were playing against just went on a tear.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
It,
true.
It's, you have to look at like past play and kind of extrapolate and guess of how many points you're going to need to actually get into the playoffs. But yeah, it's the possibility is very, very, very real. And it's very scary for me. I think that the only people that are more scared about this happening are the general manager and the owners. Rob and Ryan are probably terrified because
Yeah, because they that would be way more money.
they get a lot more money and the team would be worth a lot more money.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that when they bought this team 4 years ago that they anticipated that they would have a Premier League team in 4 years when they weren't even
No.
literally in a league. They were not even a professional team at that point.
Yeah.
That's there's the that's an they are the OpenAI. They are the Krispy Kreme of soccer teams right now in that they're expanding so fast that they may not be able to support that expansion and it's going to collapse. So,
Okay.
yeah, there's Crystal Palace right there. If you want to find out more about Crystal Palace, they were compete. Did they win a few years ago? I know that I can't remember if they won or not, but they were definitely banging it up there for certain.
Okay.
All right, everyone. Enough soccer talk. Sorry, football. Bye, everyone. We'll see you in 3 weeks. Take care. And if you need to get a hold of me, you know where to find me. Bye.